Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I have a yoga mat, but if you do not, find a place in your house that's got carpeting, or maybe you have a rug that you can use as your yoga mat for today. I have 2 yoga blocks. I've found that a great substitute for that is 2 thick books. And a folded blanket can come in handy. This is truly the throw blanket from my couch. You could do the same. Or a beach towel, a thick bath towel. We will start kneeling in a seat that might really appreciate incorporating our props right away. You could have your folded blanket underneath your knees. You might take 1 block or book or 2 of them to sit on so that this doesn't feel too dramatic, because we will actually start our practice with a bit of a meditation today. So I want you to be comfortable enough that you can imagine sitting still for a few moments. Maybe that even means that you sit in a chair instead. There really are no rules here as long as you are being mindful. So that means taking care of yourself. And one of the major pathways to mindfulness is the ability to stop, so that we can start anew, start differently than maybe the crazy, frenetic day that we've been having or week that we've been having. So let's consciously land. Let's be brave enough together to get still. You might close your eyes if that's uncomfortable to you. Just let your gaze drift towards the ground, so it feels less likely that you're going to be distracted visually. We'll lean in towards our breath a little bit, meaning really experience your inhale. Maybe you even feel it tickle into your nostrils. So if you can breathe in and out through your nose, that's ideal, but I want you to breathe mostly and with that mindfulness. So experience your inhale and experience your exhale. As you experience your inhale and your exhale, that will help you also with those arrows of attention inward. Our breath goes 2 directions. If we indulge it, our mind is capable of going a million different directions, right? So let's use our breath coming in and breath going out. You could even say that, breath going in and breath going out. Saying it might make you live it more. This is part of our stop all the swirling thoughts and start to breathe and turn inward. Now I am going to give you 1 full minute of silence to experience your breath, to try to sit as still as you can, no judgment. And we'll take that 1 minute starting now. Last 15 seconds together here. Let's stay with that mindful inward turn, even as we take different postures together today. We will come off of our props and onto hands and knees. So maybe you're not off all of your props. You can still be patting your knees with your blanket. That can be a very good idea. I've got my toes curled under, and let's explore our hands spread wide. And if you had circles on your palms, that those circles would be touching the ground. Now what we don't want is this collapse in between our shoulder blades. So push the ground away, and you can feel that fills out the area between your shoulder blades a little bit. We want that. It's called protraction, so a little bit of that. We will keep the integrity in our arms and our shoulders over our wrists, and only move our pelvis for some cat-cows. So as you inhale, your butt goes to the sky, almost like it's in preparation for a few down dogs that we'll do soon. And then tuck your tailbone like you're tucking your tail between your legs. The inhale is where we let our tailbone go a little bit to the sky. And then the exhale is when we have our tail between our legs. And we're just freeing up the movement of our pelvis and keeping the stability in our shoulders and arms as we do. Let's go back and forth a few more times. You get to choose your own pace and tempo here. Then we will land in the middle, so a neutral spine. That means neither tucking your tail between your legs nor a sassy hips to the sky. Take your right arm up to the sky and swoop that right arm underneath you. You'll end up on your right shoulder and the right side of your head, and you can always use your folded blanket or a block underneath the right side of your head here. And then feel that there's a little delicious stretch in your shoulder. Give yourself a moment to turn inward and breathe in a new situation. Unravel and bring yourself back to all fours. And now we take our left arm up. We swoop that underneath us. We'll land on the outside of our left shoulder, outside of our head on the left side, padding, blocks, whatever you need. And then we feel a little stretch and let ourselves be here a few moments, breathing and turning inward on the second side of our new shape. Unravel this side. Here we are on all fours. Let's tuck our tail between our legs, and then let's be a little sassy and lift our hips up as we keep pushing the ground away with our hands, our arms. Tuck your tailbone and lift your tailbone. One more time. We tuck our tailbone. And then as we lift our tailbone, it will lift us up and back into down dog. So really push the ground away a lot. Keep a bend in your knees. Walk your feet as wide as your mat. Lift your sit bones high. Feel the hook in your tailbone. Aim to where the wall and ceiling meet. Now you might start over the course of our practice to sink your heels down and straighten your legs a little bit, but we don't want to be rounded. So really keep that pushing the ground away. An elongation of front body, side body, and back body in our little mountain-looking V-shaped down dog pose. Walk your feet forward to your hands and arrive at the front edge of your mat with your feet hip distance and parallel. Take your hands to your ankles, shins, or even thighs. Inhale, uplift your heart. Exhale, fold back in, but let's try to stay long in our spine as we do. And then inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. Stand in your mountain pose, palms face out. Our palms are facing out from our shoulder joint. And we've got a feeling of rooted and rebounding, just like you're feeling exhales and inhales. In fact, our exhales land us in our feet, and our inhales make us feel like we're growing tall out the crown of our head. We'll add some movement. Inhale, V shape, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs or your shins or your ankles. Inhale, slide your hands up and then bend your knees deeply so your palms can get flat on the ground. The hook in our tailbone takes us to downward facing dog. This time from down dog, shift shoulders over your wrists like we did with our knees down, but maybe knees stay up this time, it's up to you. Hook in our tailbone takes us up and back. We push the ground away for our down dog. Again, we come to plank, shoulders over our wrists. You could bring your knees down if you want to, and then the hook in our tailbone takes us back to our down dog. One more time, shoulders over wrists. It feels like we're pressing our thigh bones into our hamstrings, and then our hips lift up and back. We push the ground away in our down dog, and then walk forward, feet to your hands. Feet are hip distance and parallel. Inhale, slide your hands up, and exhale, slide your hands down as we fold in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, V, and then we stand with our palms facing out. A couple more friends to add to our sun salutation. A, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up and inhale. Palms go flat. We step carefully into down dog. From down dog, shift to plank, shoulders over wrists. And now bring your knees down, but a bit further back in space than when we did our cat-cow. Remember how we're not collapsed? Push the ground away actively. Feel your belly move towards your spine. Shift a little bit forward. In one piece, lower all the way down onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, bring your forearms parallel to the long edges of your mat and traction your elbows towards you so you can refine your heart coming through the gateway of your arms. As we do this, press into the tops of your feet. Let your kneecaps lift off your mat. Our chins stay parallel to the ground. And then we'll lower down and see if we can reenact that with our hands next to our ribs. But we don't want our elbows flopping out to the side. So think of elbows kissing your ribs. And then you can traction your way, not chin forward, chest forward, into a careful cobra. Then lower down, curl your toes under in one piece, using our arm strength and our core, come through all fours. And then hips lift us up and back. We push the ground away, down dog. Walk your feet forward to your hands. We arrive with our feet hip distance and parallel. Lift your heart, inhale, slide your hands up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, and then we stand in our mountain with our palms facing out. Let's flow. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up as you inhale. Bend your knees deeply, palms flat, step to down dog. From down dog, shift to plank, shoulders over wrists. Bring your knees to your mat, high tip. Lower all the way down onto your belly, or in my case, onto your dog potentially. Uncurl your toes and come into a cobra. Then lower down, curl your toes under through all fours. And then our tailbone lifts us up and back. We push the ground away to down dog. And then we will walk forward, feet to our hands. Feet are hip distance and parallel. Lift your heart, inhale, slide your hands up. Exhale, hinge and fold back in. Then inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and we pause, palms facing out. One more time, we flow. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs, shins or ankles. Slide your hands up and inhale. Bend your knees, palms flat, step to down dog. From down dog with our hook in our tailbone, we shift to plank with our shoulders over our wrists, and then our knees come down. Keep pushing the ground away. Elbows brush against our ribs. We lower in one piece, and then come into cobra or sphinx if you prefer it. Lower down, curl your toes under through all fours. And once again, our hips lift us up and back into our downward facing dog. Walk forward, feet come all the way up to our hands, and then slide your hands up. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold in, slide your hands down. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then we stand in our mountain with our palms facing out. Take your 2 blocks, place them on either side of you as you face that short edge of your mat, and make sure that they're not right underfoot, that they are within reach so they can be useful, but they're not going to trip us up. Then let's find that spinning of our arms away from each other, uplift of our heart, and remind ourselves of our inward turn and the rise and fall of our breath. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs, shins, or ankles. Inhale, slide your hands up. As we fold in, we bend our knees, palms go flat. We step back to down dog, finding that hook in our tailbone. Right leg reaches and steps through, and for most of us, we need to help it along, and we will bring our 2 blocks into the mix, framing our right foot as we inch that right foot a little bit over to the right, giving us more space side to side. We'll add a twist here. Left hand stays on our block. Right arm spins open to the sky, thumb to the sky. We're trying not to swing our hips out to the right. Instead, feel as though that right hip is inclined towards the back edge of your mat. And we don't want to roll our shoulders into our ears, so we roll our inner upper arms away from each other and open up towards that right side of our mat. Then unwind, right hand to your block, both blocks off to the side of your mat, palms flat, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts behind us. We step our left foot forward and we may need to help it along. Trot your 2 blocks in to frame that left foot. And then our right hand will stay on our block and our left arm will spin open towards the sky, thumb to the sky. We've got a bend in our left knee, and we're trying not to collapse our shoulders into our ears as we experiment with twisting, turning out, you might say, and yet turning inward, maintaining that inward versus distractedly outward turn, no matter what shape we're in. Bring your left hand onto your block, step into down dog, palms go flat, walk your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, slide your hands up, and exhale, fold it in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, and then we stand in our mountain. And when I say what shape you're in, I don't mean what physical fitness. I mean the various ways we change shape in this practice on our mat, just like life changes shape off our mat, and we want to use our mindfulness there as well. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart, palms go flat, we step to down dog. And once we're there, we will again lift our right leg, step our right foot forward, trot our 2 blocks into the mix, and design a forward fold that's straight-legged. So right foot flat, left foot flat, plenty of sideways space, and our priority is length through our spine. So we're not crumbled and folding. We're feeling like we wouldn't mind having our chest parallel to the ground and a very long spine. Then we add to this a twist. Left hand stays on our block, right arm spins open. Again, we're trying not to swing our hip out. We want this to really be a twist in our torso. So you can feel that if you stabilize your low body a little bit, you might feel more mobilization in your waist as you turn. And we'd like that. 2 moments to turn inward and turn outward all at the same time. Then we unwind our right hand onto our block and bend our front knee. Spin on your back toes, scoot your left block off to the side, step into your down dog or both blocks off to the side. Left leg lifts, and then we step our left foot forward and we start to design our pyramid pose on this side. So right foot, back foot flat. Inch that left foot to the left so you've got some sideways space. prioritize once again a hinge at your hip and an elongation through your spine. Once we have that, right hand stays on our block and left arm spins open. Our body spins open. We try not to swing our butt out to the left, but instead to feel that left hip draw back. And then we pause here. Left thumb to the sky, both shoulders out of our ears. We will unwind and bring our left hand onto our block, bend our left knee and spin on our back toes. A little bit different, our exit. We'll keep our blocks in our hands and see if we can step our right foot hip distance from our left. You might move your blocks forward to assist that. And then once we've got that, let's move our blocks maybe even still forward so we can maintain that very long spine we've been talking about with both of our hands on our tall blocks. Then standing on our right leg, extend your left leg back behind you. Once we stick our landing here, left hand stays on our block, right arm spins open to the sky in this shape. So like I said, we are learning how to twist outward in this posture, but also to turn the arrows of attention inward, no matter what situation. Unwind your right hand to your block and your left foot hip distance from your right, and make this a chair pose, thumbs to the sky, V shape, then hands into a prayer. Let's stay upright and turn to our right. Now you might just stay upright. That's a great way to do this. You could tuck your left elbow in your left inner thigh, or take your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, twisting here. 2 moments. Unwind your hands to your blocks. Let your legs carefully straighten, and then once again we prioritize a very long spine. We'll stand on our left leg and extend our right leg back behind us. Once we feel solid enough here to add a twist, we will. Right hand on our block, left arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky. And here we are, twisting out and turning inward. Bring your left hand to your block and your right foot hip distance from your left. Make it a chair pose. And once we're in chair, hands in a prayer, and we turn to our left. And upright twisting is brilliant. If you would like, pitch a little forward, think hinge. Right elbow on the inside of your right thigh is great. Right elbow on the outside of your left thigh might work fine as well. 3 moments together here. We'll unwind our hands to our blocks. Let our legs straighten a little bit. Take our blocks off to the side and our hands on our hips. Firm your belly, come upright, stand into your mountain. Inhale, arms reach out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Inhale, slide your hands up. Bend your knees so that your palms can go flat. Step back into downward facing dog. From our down dog, we shift it to plank. Bring our knees to our mat and lower slowly all the way down onto our bellies. We come into our cobra pose or maybe sphinx. Lower down, curl your toes under, be firm through your belly. We come through all fours. And from all fours, let's come seated with our legs out in front of us. You might want to bring your blanket into the mix, and it's a great idea to have your 2 books or blocks nearby. Now, as we sit nice and tall with our legs out in front of us, we will bend our right knee, and it could be that your right foot goes into your left shin. It might be that you bend that right knee and your right foot goes into your left inner thigh. We're still twisting and we're still turning inward, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Take your right ribs, rotate those towards your left straight leg. If your right knee is sensitive, place a block underneath that right thigh, and then we will frame our left leg and probably stay pretty high off that left thigh. But our twist is the priority. Our inward turn is the priority. And now we allow ourselves a hamstring stretch and a right hip stretch all at once. We'll take a few moments here. It's like a little seated tree pose that we're doing together. Let's think of this as a 1-minute silent meditation through the twists and turns. Come up and help it along. So help that right knee to the sky, then straighten your right leg out, and we take the second side of this. So remember, it could be left foot in the calf, maybe left foot in the inseam of your right leg, arms up to the sky, thumbs to the sky, left ribs rotate to frame our right thigh or our right leg now. And then we think hinge at our hip, elongation of our spine, and we find another opportunity to twist outwards and to turn inwards. Last 25 seconds here. Now we will help it along on this side too. Left knee to the sky and a little waggle of our legs out in front of us. Maybe the ultimate place to have our inward turn is either a seated meditation like we started, so you could return, it could be bookends in our practice. We started seated, maybe you end seated in cross-legged meditation, or lie down on your back for our final Shavasana meditation. Like I said, could be seated, but let's really dive deep into our inward turn and let ourselves let go. You're welcome to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation as long as you'd like. If you're ready, gather your knees into your chest and gently roll to your side. If you're seated, we're coming up to find you. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Might even be seated on a block in between our heels the way we started. And let's just take a second to feel that we've turned inward before we once again reach out into the world. We have to turn inward if we are going to successfully reach out, which we want to do too. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.